And I'm here. The sweet Budweiser. I love you guys.
Welcome to the Logjam Week 3 recap. Week 4 ahead. Gentlemen, how do you feel? Billy, good to have you live,
I
buddy.
feel great. A little heavier on the top lip, but good to be back, guys. Good to be back to Avalon Studios. I don't know if you guys heard, but the Stilton Studios,
We
they were sold.
Divestiture of some assets.
Condemned.
Sorry, not condemned. It was sold.
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 Sold. Sold.
Absolutely. Well,
Not that you can do that with studios anymore, but
we are here at Avalon Studios. We've heard great things about the new digs out in Mesa, but more importantly than that, man, Mesa, Chandler, I don't know, is it
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
A guy we all used to know.
Does anybody know where that is?
It's deep. Once you get, it's almost like surprise you're out of gas, except it's like, Gilbert, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Heard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations. How's Huxley doing? The wife, kids, everything
good. Apparently he's mine, so, yeah. All right.
Test official?
Yeah, he looks like me, so he's got two
All right.
eyes.
Well, welcome you to the Logjam. Darren, welcome in. A couple of big things to talk about. Number one, bye.
Yeah. It is a bye week for a couple teams out there, being the Titans now, the Steelers now. That's pretty early in the year. I guess these teams are going to have to play like 13 games in a row after this, so it's going to be a little rough on all of our fantasy squads for those of us that have Titans or Steelers. I also know we talked a little bit about the IR spots being for COVID players. However, until until the site actually or the team actually designates a player on IR, then you can't move them to IR. So, a team having COVID results and shutting down doesn't mean that you can then put those players on IR and pick up other players for the week. Unfortunately, but that's the rules for all of us.
Yep.
I have Juju Smith-Schuster. I have a Steeler this week as well, so I'm dealing with it. But it is what it is with the site, and it's just kind of a quirky 2020 thing.
Tom, you got anybody on the Steelers or the Titans?
I don't have a Steeler or a Titan. I think it's hopeful. God forbid we have the Vikings end up with a positive test or two,
right,
and giant men laying on top of each other for the better part of 3 hours. I know we said it
Which is why you watch.
trace back to the bus, which is why I enjoy it,
Yes.
frankly. That's absolutely true. They say there's like a 3 to 5 day window till we believe they would test positive. So hoping the next 2 days go well. If the Vikings can't play, that means the Texans wouldn't be able to play.
Yeah.
And there isn't a hopeful date for that makeup. So that would be pushing playoffs back. There's a lot of ramifications. Hopefully we don't have to worry about it. Hopefully those players are fine. But yes, if a player is deemed sick and can't play and listed by the team on the official NFL COVID list, then you can put him on IR. Absolutely. The other subject that came up, the mid-season meeting.
Yes, the mid-season meeting manager will be getting a hold of everyone very shortly, but we do have some
Prospective dates.
perhaps
Talking about the trade deadline, the mid-season meeting being before week 11. We're talking about the 15th, 16th, possibly the 18th there.
Yeah, that week in November. It's prior to the Thanksgiving holiday, so I know everybody's probably got things planned. Well, most of us are industry people.
I think
so
the
we'll
only
be
three
working
now would be
Well, there's only two
Joel,
non-industry people. Joel, Steve
Faulkner, and no, Gary
Yeah,
Israelson
Gary's
is
in
no
the
longer.
not even in the industry. So there's
Not-
three.
Not since March.
For those of you that
Yes.
aren't in the industry, if you'd like to maybe do Saturday
Andrew.
day, Sunday day, Andrew, I think is in. He's doing. I don't know. We don't know what you're doing, Andrew. When would you like to have the meeting? I guess is the question that we're not asking very
You know what
clearly.
Andrew's doing? You can't even see what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, he's way down there.
Because there's three of us.
Sorry, buddy.
Love you.
Wednesday night the 18th, Sunday night the 15th, Saturday night the 14th, or any of those days.
And mind you guys, it can all be Zoom. We can all Zoom it out. I don't know if we have a pool available or if there's a hot sauna for dudes.
Pool or a pond. Pond would be good for some of us.
Most of us, right. But we just everyone find a time. I know there's kids and poops and shits and all that good stuff going on. So shifts, I said not shits, I said shifts.
But just let's get ready to plan for it.
Yeah.
We have to have a trade deadline. Obviously, we like to get together if we can, for those of us who are able to.
Yeah.
But if you can't, or you
Please
don't-
respond to the text that will be forthcoming
it will be
from
coming.
the Master of Meetings.
Minister
Of Meetings, Masturbation.
Meetings.
I don't know the names
Something-
exactly. I don't think they're set in
masturbation.
stone.
But I made it live.
Well, that is through the details of the league. Let's get to the week that was. Well, how about that, fellas?
It was a great
It was
week.
alright.
I thought it was interesting to watch two games where both teams were undefeated in both games. That was interesting. We had that happen this week.
Mm-hmm.
We had a number of other obviously events, but what ended up happening at the end of the week is the whole league was brought together again in a logjam, just like this mush of 2-1, 1-2. Everybody, other than other than Zorro's and Ari's hand-given team to Gary.
The Garens.
Yeah. Other than that,
It's not the gay RNs, it's the Garens.
Garens. Down here at the bottom, of course, we're seeing Young. I'm in a tenuous place. I'm at 2-1, but I'm ninth in points. So there's definitely these guys jump up. There's going to be a lot of turmoil in the middle of the league, as
a lot
of
of jamming
course it
of
is.
logs, guys.
But the first game that we'll get to, the carrot of the week, after 2 second places coming up short, Gary ends up getting the carrot.
Yeah, short of the carrot. And
Not bad.
you look at the total points scored. He's
should.
at 519.
Yeah, about time.
The next closest person, obviously, Zorro's at 459, which is a great number, but Gary's been killing it.
Nothing
At
more
least
important
40
than
points
points
away.
when it comes to seeding, when it comes to potentially getting buys in the very first tiebreaker. Tyler Lockett, 40 is a big game.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers continues to impress.
James Conner had a good game for him.
James Conner had a huge game. Billy, Keenan Allen, and then what was your take on the game?
The Titans will have their. Like, listen, guys, the Titans had to lose eventually, right? We can't be on a 4-month fucking win streak. That just doesn't happen. And if it does usually lose in the finals, a lot of people know. The Titans had to lose. This might give a little good taste, so to speak, for the coach to give to the players.
Yeah.
We're excited. We got a rebound game against the Sin. We are looking forward to this week rebounding, especially with our quarterback going against that particular team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I would be excited if I was you as well. I mean, the first two weeks, your team scored a little over 120,
Yeah,
and you got weeks out. You got wins
we did
out of
get-
both those. You
yeah.
played the stick in both the first weeks.
Well, not the second week, but close.
Okay,
Right.
so and then in the third week, your team actually does produce. You get a loss because you played the carrot, but
Yep.
It's got to be exciting to have those two early
Okay.
wins and then to see your team put up 144.
Our
145.
potential was about 175 to 180
Yeah.
if
I would
everything would
agree.
have gone right. So we're loving it, man. We'll see you guys in the playoffs. 7 wins and you're in.
There you go, 7 to get in.
Another exciting game this weekend. Daddy puts up a big number, takes out the Fury 174 to 142 in the quarterback bonanza.
Oh man.
Unreal.
Absolutely. Benner had Patrick Mahomes put up a huge number.
Russ Wilson put up the 50 burger, and then
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes answers with 51.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And that's more than Andrew's team scored, I think, this week.
There was a few moments where you thought this game was going to be close, but Daddy had jumped out to that huge lead Thursday night. Robinson, I mean, that's a
He's
big piece
great
moving
ad.
forward, I think.
Yep.
Makes up for some of that Saquon loss.
Yep.
Furry, up there again, 142, like we said, another number that's going to get you wins more weeks than it gets you losses. Get you a loss this week. You're doing okay. You're at the, basically the top end of the points. You're ahead of a few people. Like I think there's two good teams. One team had to lose, and Daddy put up a big week.
Yep. I mean, I agree. He's just outside of the playoffs right now, sitting there in the 7th position, 3 points behind Daddy. Daddy obviously has the tiebreaker, but it's so early.
Early.
I know that Joe Mixon hasn't produced a lot for Furies this year, and I think that's going to change. I think it's just early, and it sucks to have a loss, but to have Pat Mahomes in your offense has got to be exciting to be each week. So
You can have 4 wins through 8 weeks in this league and still make the playoffs, guys.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
So-
can.
Just remember that.
The third matchup of the week, the Sin also getting off the schneid, 143 over the Merci Beaucoup. What do you like, Billy?
I like that he scored a third of his points of his whole year in this last week. And I do like that I'm facing him next week. He has kind of just been on the bad luck of things, the Cardinals Sin, right? Like last year faced every big point opponent.
Yep.
Has lost every game on
Lost
a
on
Monday
Monday
night.
night.
So I'll make sure, I'm not sure, but I'll make sure I have someone starting on Monday night this week just to keep that
Yep.
drama. Yeah, I may actually have to drop Larry Fitzgerald and pick up someone else to start against.
Did
it,
get
just
a
so
quick
we have
note. I did get a quick note from the truck. They were double checking some math that we done, some statistics on the fly, and in fact, 1/3 of 3 is 143. Yeah, it is 1/3 of his points in week 3. So just double checking that math. Dak puts up a big game. Allen Robinson puts up a big game for Sin. On Mercy's side, having Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook, a Titan and a potential Viking with if things pan out in different ways. That's got to be scary going into this weekend.
Oh, for sure. It almost makes it unfair for whoever has to play him to catch him this week when he doesn't have that much talent. I think we should evaluate that because whoever that team is, it's just,
Who's that team?
I don't know. Oh, that's us.
Oh.
So yeah, it's okay. He's gonna have Dalvin Cook. He's gonna have and I've lost players as well. So it's like I said, it is what it is, guys. We'll get through it.
All right, Zorro's 127 over the Pips. Another kind of late comeback kind of game. I think the answer to this question is AK-47.
Oh man,
Great smoke.
it was a good week. I mean, most of my team put up adequate points at every position. Again, but I didn't outscore most of the league, so I could have taken a loss from many teams this league. But it just hurt because I was projected to beat Joel, and then all of a sudden, Alvin Kamara, I think it was Sunday Night Football, puts up 47, 48, but congratulations, Joel.
How would you have described how you were going to beat Joel before the game started versus actually?
Disinterested backhand, maybe an overhand. Like, is there a specific
I was
style?
just hoping to sneak under the fence, really,
Or
just barely get in there.
the wall, if you will,
Yeah.
just right under the.
There's mountains to climb.
All right. In the least exciting game, and frankly, it came down to the wire, but any game that ends 103, 101, you can't call an exciting game.
No.
But I didn't have any luck at all
Wow.
until Monday
Usually
night.
any game that ends 103, 101, the Titans are involved in.
Typically.
So,
I
jealous, first of all.
tightened the young this week.
Yeah.
I snuck by the stick.
nice.
I spent all day Monday thinking I'm going to lose the game. Of course. How do I not? And, man, rough go of it there for Young.
How does one get those two people who, I won't name names, but they're related to each other on their schedule every week? Like, I feel like Ari had some kind of, like, matrix that made sure he always had the worst. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Ari. That guy who used to be our commissioner.
Yes.
I feel like that thing was always kind of janky. No one ever knew how the matrix worked.
It was double blind. I trusted, at least in theory, what was supposed
You
to
trust
happen.
double blind things?
Yeah.
Like in
Potentially.
Asia? Yeah.
And I'll take a little bit of issue. Daddy did win this week, so it's not, I think inferring that the Pharaoh matchup isn't an automatic
I was
buy.
just
I
calling
don't think
Ari a
it's-
cheater and maybe like questioning his championship. So we
Yeah,
can
maybe
take
we
things
should.
off the trophy.
We could boycott that.
Well, if he was cheating with this roster, maybe he should have won a couple more games last year.
Yeah.
None of that matters. Young stays at 0-3. Big week coming up, fellas. Week 4, chance to stretch out some 3-0s. A couple lost teams.
Oh. Well, I knew a lot of 3-0s in high school that I stretched out. So, furthermore, Pow is looking to go 3-1.
Yeah, you want to start there? Let's start from the top.
3-1.
Next week, Billy, who do you like? The Scoregasms traveling to rural Cincinnati to play Benter's Fury.
I'm going to take Gary releasing punishment on Benter, just kind of riding the coattails for many years with the Garins.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Garen's big win, 195. He's not going to get the carrot to Benner's 122. Somebody's going to go 200 this week, guys.
I think obviously it could be Gary. You look at his point totals, and Fury has Pat Mahomes, which always gives you a chance in any game. But I'm still going to take Gary here. He's after 3 weeks. That's a small enough sample, a little more than a small enough sample size for me to start to say, okay, this is a trend, and I think that's the way it'll go this week.
I think our Pat Mahomes is a cheat code. Having Kelsey as the stack, always going to be in games. But I think that Aaron Rodgers guy turns out to might know a little bit about playing football as well.
Yeah.
I like that he has been reported to fake that his thing doesn't work in his helmet so he can call his own plays. That's fucking awesome and amazing, and I love you, Aaron Rodgers, for doing that. That is baller shit, and fuck your coach. You know how that fucking team works.
Yeah.
But really, don't do it, because I don't want you like Gary. Fucking Gary. Anyway.
All right. Well, I can't. I'm going to take Pat Mahomes here. I'm going to switch against my own logic. Darren, matchup number 2, the Farrell Bowl, or there might be another term for that. We will leave alone. But Young getting into Daddy. Who do you like?
I like Daddy here. I like Daddy laying the wood to the shed.
As you can see, only a third of his points were gotten last week. So I'm going to take Daddy as well over Young. I think he's going to spank that shit and show him who is Daddy.
All right. Well, since I've been the contrarian the first time, I'm taking Young here to get off the schneid. I think that may, depending on how those games could end up being a fine. But I will take Young Infused over Daddy. All right, Billy. Who do you like between Merci Beaucoup traveling to the Pimp?
I'm going to take the Pimp. Just team's too big, too strong. You're in the cellar for a reason. You're either drinking wine or your team ain't fine. Sorry.
Want me to go first before
Sure.
I let you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just can't. I can't not pick Merci.
Was that double negative?
I'm JK. He's 3-0. 0-3.
Three.
I don't see 406.
He's
Like, you
not
can't pick
3-1.
him. You
He's
can't pick me.
2-1.
Pimp's up here, 2-1.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Pimps here.
Normally I'd pick against myself, and I would take Merci in this game, but I'm going to try some backwards juju, and I'm going to take the Pimps here. I think this is going to be a strong week for us.
A little bit of
Kyler
confidence.
is going to have a big game, so I'm going to take us.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna go back to you a second time. The Titans at the Sin.
The Titans at the Sin. In this game, am going to take... I haven't looked at matchups necessarily in this game, which I should have prior to this podcast to give you a...
Would you like to know?
Um,
Do you want to know who
What-
our
what is
quarterbacks
the-
are playing?
what's the projected? Just give me projected totals.
Right now, you are going to be at 147 versus 122. Titans versus Sin.
I'll take the Titans.
There you go. I did it before. Remember when you're like, hey, and I was like, hey, I'm taking the Titans this week. But anyways, I'm going to take the Sin. Good luck.
Even it up. Even it up. One apiece.
Yep.
Tom?
I've been picking the Sin all year. Not to the most success, but
He's got more points than I do.
yeah, I feel like that's a good team. I feel like there's a late team. I'm gonna continue on my Sin bandwagon.
Well, I'll get you 2-2 and a little bit more of a log jam, maybe.
Billy Mack, the 2-1 and almost low points Avengers, traveling to second highest points, undefeated. Really
The
impressive
Euros?
looking Euros.
I'm taking the Euros, my friend. Do some yard work on your ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Avalon Avengers have the most underrated team here. They are a great squad.
They've been great forever. They've just been
They're a great squad.
picked off at the box
they
office
are
or something. It's been really
just
weird.
hovering below the deck, so to speak. So I'm definitely going to take Avalon here.
Got him 120 points out of first in 3 weeks. This has not been my best squad. I think they face another week of not being able to start my 5 keepers, which hasn't been that awesome so far. This has to be a Zorro's win, no question in my mind.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, that is the week. Any thoughts on the week coming up? Anything else you want to add to the pod? Any shout outs? Any sponsors?
No, I would, from my end again, I would just say please again, as quick as you can, get ready for that mid-season meeting conversation.
Yeah.
So look at your schedules and just let's get something together so we can get that done.
Get your
Trade deadline.
Zoom meetings cleared,
Yes.
ready.
Just before we sign off, I am hearing of some
Sedona?
police chatter from up in Sedona that's
I
telling
saw
us
a tweet about that.
that I think there's early reports, nothing confirmed yet, that one of our owners might have been involved in a domestic dispute in Sedona. Alcohol was involved. We don't have a name yet. We think it's probably Chris Burns, but we don't know. You guys be safe out there. We love you guys. Very, very soon.
No one knows the gypsy's name. No one hears his lonely sigh.
It's all
No
there.
place where he lies.
Corey Tisdale.
Deepest dreams a gypsy
You
fly.
got a gypsy flag?
Who?
The sweet Melissa.